Hey guys, Kevin here. What I'd like to do in this video is talk about a WordPress plugin that I really love. It's something that I've been using for years and it's called Admin Columns. You can see the website here in the background. This is an administration plugin for WordPress website owners, and it really does add functionality that's missing in the core version of WordPress. Now, I'll show you the free version. I want to give you an understanding of what the free version can do, what the basic plugin can do, but I will be focusing more on Admin Columns Pro because Admin Columns 4 was just released yesterday. You can see they're offering 15% off to celebrate the launch. It adds quite a lot of new features. The third version, Admin Columns 3, has been out for a few years, and they kept adding new features and new features and new features, but the fourth version that they've just launched, it added quite a lot of functionality. So I've written an article. You can see there's my article, and this video is a complement to that. So this is Admin Columns listed in the WordPress.org plugin directory. You can see it's got over 70,000 installs. It's very, very popular. And now I've got it here. This is the settings area. Now, this is the settings area of Admin Columns, and you can drag and drop here. Now, that might not make sense what I'm doing here. So what I'm going to do is backtrack a little bit, and I'll show you the post screen. So this is the WordPress post screen, or I call it the overview page, but people call it different things. Essentially, WordPress handles all content in this way. What they do is they display all your entries, all your content in rows and columns. All your posts are displayed like this. All your images are displayed like this. All your comments, all your pages. If you get anything else in WordPress, contact form submissions, gallery items, anything that you've got added through a theme, through a plugin, anything that's using a custom post type is going to be displayed on your page like this. This is a general overview page, and it just displays your entries. And when I refer to entries, I'm talking anything, whether it be a post, a page, an image, etc. So I've got this customized a little bit, but what I'll do, I'll deactivate Admin Columns for a second. So I'm just going to use the blog post overview page as an example. What we've got here is what 99.9% of WordPress users will see. They'll see the title at the top, they'll see author, they'll see categories, they'll see tags, and they'll see comments, and they'll see date. Now, here's the problem with how WordPress handles all this. It doesn't let you change anything. It doesn't let you change a thing. So you're kind of stuck with what you've got. Now, everyone uses WordPress in a different way, and this is where Admin Columns comes in. For example, if you're the only writer of a blog, you're the sole, author of your blog, then you don't need to see who the author is. It's not relevant. It's not important information to you. I've got some tags listed here. This is my demo area, but on my main blog on kevinmuldoon.com, I don't use tags at all. I don't use it. So there's a column I don't need. And you can see here, if I'll reload the page, you can see here, this is how you can kind of customize it. And this one here, I've removed tags. I've added featured image, because you can then see, at a glance, you can then see, okay, that article's missing a featured image. You can see word count, so you can see, all right, that article's too short. I should maybe remove it from my blog. Maybe I should add more content to that page, that kind of thing. The beauty of this as well is that you can customize your overview pages for whatever it is, your posts, your media, your pages, anything you're using. You can customize it, but you can also set up different column sets. Now, that's available in the Pro version, not the free version. But in the Pro version, what it allows you to do is, say for example, I could set up a set called blogging mode, where it shows me featured image, it shows me word count, it shows me all these different things. And then I could set up SEO column set, where it would just show me the columns from SEO plugins such as Yoast and things like that. You could set up another set so you can set up all these different column variations so that you can then change the columns to display different columns for different tasks. And if you are just someone who blogs once a month, twice a month, you will get used out of Admin Columns without a doubt. It is a fantastic plugin, and I do recommend installing the free version. But if you have a lot of content on your website, this is where Admin Columns really comes into its own. It will save you a huge amount of administration time, and I think the key thing to a good WordPress administration plugin is something that adds functionality which is missing from WordPress. And after using admin columns a while, you start thinking, why doesn't WordPress just do this on its own? So I'm going to backtrack now. This is the free version. In fact, before I backtrack, okay, so you can see here, this is just if you've got the free version, you'll see this little banner at the side. And the pro version, this is a good summary. The pro version allows you to do sortable columns, filterable columns, edit your column content, create multiple column sets, that's what I was talking about before, and you can import and export your column settings. But still in the free version here, and you can see how easy this works. So this was the post screen that I was looking at before. You've got featured image, I can call it, that changes the type. So I could change it from featured image to a permalink, I'd display a permalink instead. I could display anything really, you know, post format, you can list anything. I'll keep it featured image, and you've got the label. I could call it just featured. Maybe I want to just keep it as featured. I can adjust the width of the column to a specific size, percentage, or in pixels, or I could just leave it in auto. And then you can see the preview size of the thumbnail. You can make it medium or large, and again, all of this comes down to customization, and it all comes down to how you want to use WordPress, because you'll see here that for different types, different post types, you will see different options. Now this is for posts, and you can see here posts, you've got pages, you've got comments, media library, you've also got users. That's something else I forgot to mention earlier. We've got settings, add-ons as well. Right, so that's just add-ons you get in the pro version. Right, so I'm going to skip away from that and focus on the pro version. And they've added a really, I mean, it was already a really good product without a doubt, but they've really enhanced it. What I quickly want to do is just, you'll see this is the announcement post with it being released yesterday, and I just want to get through that. I'll cover all this in my own article, but I'm just going to get through the features here. Now it says here that it supports advanced custom fields. So I'll just show you. In fact, I'm going to open all these up. Let's do that. So advanced custom fields. This is, you know, a functionality WordPress plugin. Look at this, over 1 million installs. What it integrates with it. This is a great thing about admin columns. It integrates with other WordPress plugins, and it doesn't try to replace them. It tries to complement them. So what it does is, all of these plugins, they all suffer from the same problem in that they allow you to create custom post types, custom content. They allow you to really develop your website and add content in the way that you want. The problem is WordPress isn't really designed to handle all this additional content. And this is where admin columns comes in, because it allows you to create columns on your overview pages in any way you want. It's the same principle as before as it was in the post page that I showed you. You can remove the information you don't need. You can display the information you do need. You can create different column sets and things like that. You can see here it works with advanced custom fields. It works with WooCommerce. If you've got an online shop, you're going to love admin columns. It's 3 million installs. That's insane. I remember writing an article when that just came out, when it split off from Jiggle Shop. We've got Yoast SEO, 3 million installs as well, so that, you know, that will add a lot of SEO columns. And the two that have been added in admin columns for, and again, this is, you know, the new features I want to focus on a little bit in this video. They've added toolset types and pods. Now, both of these kind of offer similar functionality. They both allow you to add, you can see here, custom post types, custom fields, and taxonomies. And, you know, they're very popular with developers, very popular with general website owners. And, you know, the new version of admin columns supports all the pods that you can add, all the types that you can add. It supports everything. So what I like to do, if I've got access to the kind of demo area that can hopefully show you this. So, okay, so here's pod posts. So this is an example of how admin columns can help. So you've got, this as your pod posts. This is something that's been set up, pods. And you can see here all the different, and all the information, how it's displayed. Now, the column sets that I was talking about, look at this, pods, relation fields. We're still in pod posts. And look at that, you know, we've changed what's been displayed. And it's the same for types. You know, those both plugins do kind of offer similar functionality, but it just shows you how admin columns can really help you customize it. Normally you'd be stuck with the default screen, but when you've got admin columns installed, you can display information in so many different ways, and it really does help you administrate your website. And if I just jump over to this one, let's see, you'll hopefully see this here. Right, so this is WooCommerce. It's installed here, and all right, we've only got one order there. You can see how this would work as well. WooCommerce. I don't think this test has been set up correctly yet. Yeah, I think I'm in a different demo area than I should be. This hasn't been set up to show you. It's not been set up with a lot of demo data, but you can see, the same thing. It's the same as before with types and posts and things like this. This demo area doesn't have a lot of demo content yet, but I'll just show you something just now. So we'll go in here, and you can see here. So now, if you remember here, when I looked through, we had users, pages, posts, etc. But if I go back in here, you can see I've got products, I've got orders, I've got coupons, I've got all these things down here, link categories, product categories, all these different things. So if I go to the orders page, for example, and this is the order page, and you can see if I wanted to, I could add a new column set, my WooCommerce set. You can select, user roles and things like that. You can select users if you want, individual users. So what you can do now is add your own columns. You can create all these different things. You've got product, custom fields. I'm trying to think which ones are there already. Product thumbnails. You can see change the image size. It's really is fantastic. It's fantastic how much control it gives you over your custom post types. It really is. And anyone who's run a big website with a lot of content is really going to love what it can do. In Admin Columns 4, they did add several major features, and they've did lots of minor adjustments as well. One of the biggest things they did, well, depends on your viewpoint, they've addressed styling issues. So Admin Columns was first developed a few years ago, and what they did was they designed it using the same kind of styling and interface as WordPress. But over the last few years, every release of WordPress has been refining the styling, tweaking things, moving things around a little bit. And to be honest, I didn't notice a huge difference before. I didn't think it was a big problem before. It was still easy to use. But what they've done in Admin Columns 4 is, just changed all the margins and padding and all this, and just tried to blend it more into the WordPress interface so that it just kind of integrates better. But they've made lots of other little changes as well, and lots of them, they might seem small, but they do help you administrate the website. Like for down here, for example, they have an update button now. Before they only had one at the top, so if you had a lot of items, you'd have to scroll all the way back up to the top. But they've added another one here so that you can save even if you're at the bottom of the page. There's just lots of little things like that they've added, and I mentioned this in my article. Styling modifications, action buttons, and things like that. Just making sure I cover most of the things that I wanted to cover. So if I go back to the announcement post, that was types and posts. Yeah, this is another one. Now, I don't have a WordPress multi-site to show you an example of how this works, but Admin Columns now supports WordPress multi-site. So if you have a network website, you're really going to use to love what they've done. They've added 17 columns, and apparently they're going to add a lot more. But at the moment, they've got all these really useful ones. This one here shows you how much space is available for a network website. You can see some of the other ones there as well. They've got post counts, so you've got columns, so you can see how many posts, how many comments a particular website has. And you can see which one of the biggest websites. You can see the storage. You can see which themes are available to that website owner and which ones are activated. You can see which plugins are available and which ones are activated. And again, you can decide which of these columns are added to your network list, your overview page, and which ones are not. From an administration point of view, you really can't disregard how good this is. Especially if you've got a big task to do and you need to go through and do a lot of editing. It really is a time saver. and I'll show you why in a second. Right, before I go into horizontal scrolling, I'll just show you some of the features that are already in Admin Columns Pro, and it's it's a game changer really if you've got a big website. Even medium websites are really going to love this. Here we've got the filter. Now, Admin Columns Pro can help you filter content, right? Let me see what's the best way to show you this. Pod posts. So if you look here, we've got filter, and you can do here, if you only do date, filter, there's probably no, is there any from there? Right, so now we're only, oh, why is that one there? That doesn't seem to be displaying properly. I've never seen that happen before. So that should, in theory, only show, right, I don't know why that's not happening. Is that a bug? I don't think so. I've did this before and it worked fine. Right, I'll try this with posts and see if I can get this to work, because I want to illustrate how this works. I want to show you the filtering. That's what I'm trying to show you just now. Right, so color, what's that one at the top? 2, 4, 7, 5. I'll just pick a random color here. Right, if I filter data, it should, in theory, right. So now, as you can see, I don't know why it wasn't working with pod posts. That's maybe something I need to address. You can see here, I've selected to only display that color, and it's filtered the content, so only one entry is shown, and you can do this with anything really. What they've added in Admin Columns 4 is filter ranges. So you can see this here, like numeric ranged. You can, do from min to, I don't even know what that is. By the way, I'm not sure what I was doing wrong in that pod post page. I don't know. Yeah, you can see here CF numeric range from 4 to 7, and you can see it's come up with this entry. Now, the range thing is quite cool, because you can do it between dates, you can do it between numbers, you can do it through letters and text and things like that too. So you could do, for example, say you've got a big shopping website using WooCommerce, you could display all customers with surnames between A and D or A and G, that kind of thing. It'll help you filter content, it'll help you find content easier as well. There's a few other things here. Now, if you click edit columns, it will just take you right to the column settings page. It's like a shortcut button, effectively. But the other cool thing here is inline editing. So if I kind of remove this just now and display everything, in fact, I'll just load that again. The easiest way to get back. Okay, so you've got all your content on this page, and again, you can display default and custom and things like that. Or you can display custom fields. Now, inline edit. Now, inline editing is one of the best features of Admin Columns Pro, without a doubt. It saves you so much time. I'm trying. There's so many different ways you could use this. Say, for example, consider you've got a blog. I see something that maybe be applicable to me, and say you've got Yoast SEO installed. Now, you can have a column where it shows like SEO description, SEO meta keywords. So you could see, for example, you could change the screen options and display, instead of 20 items per page, you could display 100, and you could display a 100 blog posts per page, and you could display the keywords and the description at the side. Now, if those what it allows you to do is see, okay, that blog post doesn't have SEO information, that one does, and you can go through and then see which ones have SEO information. But here's the thing, the default version of WordPress, if you have data like that and you want to edit it, what you need to do is go in and individually customize every single article. You need to go in and you need to change it, right? That's not how it works in Admin Columns. What you can do is click inline edit, right? And when that's selected, you can make lots of changes. So I'll maybe jump to here for the blog post. Right, so in fact, I'll change the view here. I'm trying to get a lot more content on the page. Right, so inline edit is activated, and you can see there's all these little edit fields here. Now, again, what was displayed on this page will depend on how you've set up your columns. You can have as much or as little information as you want. You can remove columns, add columns, etc. But when you've got all the content that you want, you can then start editing it. And look, you can just change things like that. You can, for example, graphics, change that to HTML5. We'll add that one in as well. And boom, you've added it. Now, here's the thing, as I said, you don't have to load up the page. Now, if you have a large, this is really more of a time saver when you've got bulk tasks. So if you've just got an individual item to change, to modify, it'll save you a tiny bit of time. But if you've got, say, 100 articles, or you've got 1,000 orders, or you've got whatever, 10,000 comments, you need to modify, anything like that, you can go down and you can modify them, click, and then change it, and then click the field, change it, down, and then just scroll down, click the field, change it. You don't have to go into every single article and load the page up and then click save. It doesn't sound like this would, maybe some of you are thinking this isn't a big thing, but believe me, this saves a huge amount of administration time. And if you've got a website with a lot of entries, I'm sure your mind's buzzing already with what you can do with it. So the other thing we saw on the announcement post there, horizontal scrolling. So if you've got a page, let's see, I've got a page with too much. No, I'm trying to get a page that's got too much information, too much content. Right, so see this, right? Look at, this is quite a lot of content in the one area, right? The problem is that you can add as many columns as you want to a page, which is good. The problem is when you add too many, WordPress isn't really set up to handle too many columns, so everything gets squashed in, and maybe manageable at this point. But you add another 5 or 6 columns, and it'll be a nightmare, and you can see the content starts going down vertically, and it just becomes a nightmare to administrate. So this is where this horizontal scrolling comes in. You click on screen options, you click on there to apply it. And what it does now is it ensures that every column is displayed properly. It ensures that every column is displaying content in the right way, and it stops things being squashed up. Now, at the moment, they've got a horizontal scroll bar down the bottom. So you can see there, that's how it works. So you're kind of stopping it from being a fixed width, and you're allowing it to be expanded to, as big an area as it needs it to be. If you have a lot of content for each entry, a lot of fields, this is really going to be very, very useful. The one thing I would say though, this is a suggestion I made in my article. The way it's set up just now is if you've got like a tablet or a mobile phone, you can use your finger, use the touch gestures to go left and right. But what I'd like to see is maybe an option to do it individually, because say for example, you want to edit that one, that field up there, you need to kind of scroll down here and then go up and then edit it. And then if you want to scroll that one, you need to kind of go back down, scroll across. Now here, it's maybe a little bit, it's maybe a better illustration if, oh, there's only 25 here anyway, right, disregard. Can you imagine, I'm just trying to picture, try to illustrate, like, if say there was like 200 items here, and I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then eventually you have to go along like this, and then you have to go all the way back up. What I'd like to see is something where you can enable it where you can maybe get a horizontal scroll bar underneath each entry, so that you could scroll that one along, scroll this one back. I'm not a developer, so I'm not sure how, from a technical point of view, how difficult that would be, but I think that would maybe help if you have a huge number of items, like, like 100 items, 50 items, that kind of thing. When you've only got 20, it's not too much of a pain. Right, horizontal scrolling, date formatting, that's something that's quite cool as well. It should be in posts, default. So, in fact, it'll be in the settings area. So basically in the past, what it do is you can display the date. And that's, I think I need to, I'll need to, in fact, do I? Yep. Right, I need to add a column set. I'll just add a test column set. Test. In fact, try to see if this one might be set up better. Yeah, okay, I've got date here. Saves me having to do that. But I don't have permission that one. Okay, right, I'll go back to here. This is a problem you're provided with a test area. You don't know, sometimes you don't set up the settings for each one correctly. Kevin's columns. Not spelling that right. There we go. Right, okay, so this is a new feature, and effectively what it allows you to do is, as the name suggests, pick the format of the date. Now, before it would just use the default value, but now what you can do is you've got custom, you've got, I don't know if that's day, then month, month, then day. Yeah, that's the kind of American way. You've got year, then month, then day, and you've got all these different ways. That's the WordPress date format. Time difference is quite a cool one. You can see here it says that it will display 1 hour ago, 2 days ago. So what it would display is if you had a list, say you publish articles, say you published a blog post every single day. If you had a date column, what it would do is say published 1 day ago, published 2 days ago, published 3 days ago, published 4 days ago, and it'll help you see when the date was published. Now, there's nothing stopping you from actually displaying 2 columns. You could display 2 date columns on your post page. So you could have one that displays the date, and you can have another one that will display the date, the time difference. So you could have the date, and then it'll say 3 weeks ago, the date, and it'll say 5 months ago, that kind of thing. I just love the way that it works. It's really cool. And you can see other things here that you can, for each column, you can change the label, and you can change sorting, you can enable filtering and things like that as well. It works really well. And there's a lot of other little changes here as well. Enhanced filtering, I talked about that. You can now label filters. You can see it there. Multi-line editing. You can edit a list of posts. It's got color pick editing. I think we saw that. Where was I? One of the pages we were looking at there had colors, didn't it? Did it have colors? Am I imagining? It had a color. Oh, there it's there. Go back. Right. And I believe you can, I think you need inline editing enabled. But apparently when you enable inline editing, right, it's not coming up. That's my luck. I tested this before and it was working. But what you need to do is, you click on this and a color picker will come up and it will help you change the color. I'm not sure if it's because it's not been set up correctly. Column view, custom fields. And what are we in here? Pages, custom fields. Maybe it's something that it needs to be set up. So you're going to pages, color. So see, you can see here, you've got the custom, inline editing for custom fields is not enabled. Right, okay, so this is why that wasn't displaying for me here. And I suspect that the problem earlier that I had with the pod post, I suspect that's what the problem was again. This demo area has been set up by me, for me by admin columns so that I can test it. And you can see in the settings screen, it's not been enabled. So I can't use inline editing for custom fields. It's, if there was a color, in fact, there might be a way around for me to show you this because I want to show you that it does work. Kevin's columns. So, but we don't have a color here, do we? For this, what was that in pages? Let me see. Right. Okay, that was right. So CF color, if I go to pages, it does look like this is a permission issue, which is good because it did work for me before. Okay. Kevin's test set. See if this works. So, color. Nah, okay. It's not going to work because it's not enabled in the settings screen. Okay, that's disappointing. I can't show you that, guys. But it does work. You can see it's just a permission issue. And essentially what happens is when you do click on the color, it allows you to change it using a color picker, so you don't actually have to enter the hexadecimal code if you don't want to. So it's pretty cool. And there's some other options, other things that have been updated. Taxonomy column, there's 2 options for that now. They've addressed a lot of bugs in it. It's very, very useful. Now, I hope I've shown you guys something here in this video. I hope I've shown you a glimpse of how this works. Really, if you want to get a better understanding of how this works, I recommend installing the free version, playing around with it. Now, the free version, it doesn't have certain features such as sorting, filtering, the plugin support and things like that. But it does give you a good idea of what it can do. And for a free plugin, it's fantastic. You know, just if you just want to add custom columns, move things around, it's fantastic. But Admin Columns Pro really takes it to another level. And if you've got a big website, this is where you're going to save a lot of time with it. You can see there's 15% off. And that's the normal values, normally $59, $119, $199. And each one gives you 1 year of updates and support. It's GPL friendly, but if you want support for more websites, you need to upgrade from the personal, which is 1 website, to the business, which is 4 websites. And developer is unlimited. And you can see that plugins are added to the 2 more expensive plans. $50 at the moment for the launch. And I think it's the kind of plugin where so many people try the free version of this and they love it. And they love it so much that they upgrade because they find it so useful. And, you know, over the last few years, they've been adding a lot of, that will help page. Over the last few years, they've been adding a lot of new features. You know, every few months they'll add a new feature, they'll tweak something, they'll refine something. But in this version, they've added a lot of new features, and it'll be interesting to see how this is, how this helps Admin Columns. I think it's a plugin that should be more popular than it is. I'm a big fan of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've had a closer look at Admin Columns 4 and all the features. I apologize, I keep referring to the announcement page, but you know, I'd rather do that than forget something. Really, I mean, Admin Columns, again, the permission thing stopped me from doing a few things, but I've not found any bugs yet. I think that's just permission issues that I ran into earlier. You can see some of these things here are locked because I'm not set up as an administrator because it's not my website, which makes sense because I could be poking around and causing mayhem. And no one wants mayhem, do they? But, you know, I've used this for years, and I've tested the Pro version a number of times. And I still install it on most of my websites. It's really, really easy to use. You know, just a way that, you know, you can move things around. And look at that. Like, I want billing there. I want total up there. You want to remove a column, you can. You can update it. You can add new columns. It's just so quick. It's so easy to use. And this is why I keep going back to the fact that this should be in the core version of WordPress, really. You know, it makes you wonder why this hasn't been added. It really is cool. And you can see there's export and import functionality there as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do check out the announcement post on Admin Columns and check out my article, which will be published alongside this video. And check it out. You know, if you've got the Pro version, I'm sure you're trying it out just now. And if you've got the free version, maybe there's some more reasons for you to upgrade now. If you get any questions, please do leave a comment below on YouTube or on my blog, and or on Rise forums, and I'll do my best to answer them. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at Admin Columns Pro, and until next time, take care.